Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being present here today. On behalf of the Student Wellness Center, I, Anjali Bhatia, Student Counselor, would like to invite our very own in charge, Ms. Hima Anna Reddy, to give the welcome address. Over to you, Hima ma'am.
Thank you, Anjali. Very good afternoon to all of you. I am very pleased to welcome you all today to the launch event of the book, The Handbook of Handholding and Healing, authored by Ms. Amita Tagare. Although she needs no introduction for her work at IITB, still I would like to take this opportunity to mention it in few words. Ms. Amita ma'am has been helping students with psychological concerns for over more 3 decades. Her work has touched many lives, and many of them have come out of distress to be great achievers in their lives. All of us present over here have witnessed this era at different point of time, either by working with her or supporting her to make this possible. That being the very reason, ma'am wanted to celebrate this day with all of you. On behalf of Student Wellness Center, once again, I would like to thank you all for pulling out time from your busy schedule and gracing this occasion with your presence. Thank you. Anjali, you can take it over from here.
Thank you, Hima ma'am. Counseling is an intensely private pursuit that takes place behind closed doors, maintaining strict privacy and confidentiality. We as counselors cannot define our work in strictly measurable or quantifiable terms. Sometimes we are seen as magicians who can bring the desired changes overnight. And sometimes it is thought that all we do is give cute little pep talks. And then, sometimes, we experience authentic collaboration, be it from our own profession or from other stakeholders who are as invested in the welfare of students as we are. The difference we make is in the very psyche of the people who come to us with their secrets, their innermost thoughts, and the places in themselves that they thought could never heal. We felt that some of this deserves to be shared, and so Tagare ma'am decided to map a few stops from her long journey with the Institute. Therefore, today we have this book launch. I now invite our director, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, to address us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Tagare, Professor Kundu, other distinguished member here, my colleagues. Okay. I think what we see here today is something that's a culmination of long experience of one of our colleagues, okay, who has contributed for the welfare of our students. We, being a faculty member, sometimes we look at one aspect of student, okay. And naturally, when you see a student not as an individual, because most of them don't come in our office hours or asking separately for any kind of interaction, but mostly at classrooms or maybe just after or before the classrooms, right? So we don't get to see certain specific aspects of the students, which fortunately for persons like Mrs. Tagare, they are privy to that. And these are the ones which actually create the problems the students they have in mind, and somehow we, the professors, or even the other staff members may not be aware that what is troubling. And I was actually reading, I had this book when I got it, and I was looking at it, and if I may borrow certain statements from the forewords that I think Professor Somo Mukherjee has written, so with due credit to him, I think I really liked the way it started the foreword, okay? And if I read out, see, they come from all corners of India. They come from all strata of the society. They come from rich urban families or from families of landless labor in the most interiors of villages. They come from privilege, and they come from the underserved sections of the society. They will stay away from their families and loved ones for 4 or more years and build their deep bonds. But I think after that, he says, all of them carry their own personal baggage in a very personal space, which is the mind, okay? And I think that really tells that the task of the counselors, so we're very thankful that we have several of them here, and I was fortunate to be, I think initially, when I joined here in 1990, I think that time Mrs. Tagare was there in the same staff hostel that we were there together, okay? And our journey continued. Now it's 35 years for her, okay? Mine is about, I think, 32, few more years less. And during the process, I think I had the opportunity to interact with her, okay, in different capacities, okay, either as DD or several DACs or head, at something. And what came out was her depth of knowledge as well as the involvement in terms of solving a student's problem, okay? Of course, at the beginning, I think the issues were much less in the sense that today, the world being a lot more complex, our students being a lot more into many different things, be it internet, somebody hooked up there, or different kind of relationship problems, or whatever it is. I think the gamut of the problem is now a lot more, okay? And naturally, as it happens, the complexity of the problem is also very, very difficult sometimes. So it requires a lot of unwinding, and I was looking at some of the things that she wrote as her experience in terms of some recalcitrant, I would not say student, but a recalcitrant mind, okay, which was probably not willing to go through the even process, and which is, of course, mental well-being means that I must know that what are my, like if I have my stomach upset, I know that there is a problem and I must get attention or whatever to the doctor. But here, sometimes the person withdraws and becomes a really, really a difficult problem. And these are the ones which problem. Secondly, also sometimes what happens is that mind being, you are actually working with the mind, and which is traditionally known to be the fastest traveler in anywhere in the space, okay? You can travel, light years in fraction of a second, okay? And that tells us that there are often urgencies which you need to work at a very, very short time span because things could go otherwise completely out of hand, okay? And I saw some examples also which probably, it deals with that. So, I'm very happy to see that, she has come out with her experience written down in the format of a book. And this is, of course, a must read for we, the faculty members or the other staff members, which we, handle them. Maybe including, certain cases like security and others, the dean, other office, the hostel managers and others who are actually working there, because sometimes they need to intervene at the fastest, the opportunity. But it is also, in my opinion, a must read for all the students. And if not, I would say also to the parents of the students, because I see also some part that she has written about the parents being involved or not being involved at all. Even certain cases it has happened. I think we have several dean students affairs and others who have handled their difficulties. Maybe the dean academics or the other group of people, I think would say that they have also faced this difficulty. That they need, sometimes there is a disconnect between the fact, the family, okay, and the students when they come in. And this creates or aggravates the difficulties if there is already a problem. Okay. And of course, recently we did lose one person. Okay. And at the same time, I must also say that thankfully, because of the proper intervention, we could save one life also, because this was the timeliness of the action that our people have put in. So, in summary, it's an awareness, okay? We, as become old, we realize as we handle more and more students, we know that it's important. But at the same time, there's young minds, the students, they do not have the kind of appreciation and its requirement in our life, okay? So I hope that there has to be a way of publicizing this, okay? So that actually this effort is a successful one. We always learn from others, their mistakes, sometime earlier as a young boy, we were asked read the autobiography of some great people, but also that's one aspect, because these people are great. That's more for aspirations. But it is also relevant that we also read the people, not the autobiography, but the case studies, maybe I would say, for people who had difficulties, because that also gives us a lot of experience in terms of seeing how we can get out of them. So I hope that maybe, the Student Wellness Center, Dean Ace's office, and others, somehow from the Institute Point, will make sure that this goes to the sort of people. Maybe we have other, the counselors also. There could be addendum, and this could get added, and others, so there are case studies. So, of course, we must follow all the anonymizations, everything, so that, as you said, you started saying that it has to be at the, closed and very, very at a confidential level, okay? Because naturally someone's, your lifestyle, you are actually looking, with a microscope. So I hope that this book becomes very useful. I would like to congratulate Mrs. Tagare, and thank you for doing it, okay? And I think it's your parting gift to IIT Bombay as you close a long innings at IIT Bombay. So not only that, I hope that tomorrow you can even, if you have time, now of course it was less time for you, when you have more time as a superannuated person, you can even have even more and a bigger things that we can also publicize at here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind and encouraging words. I now invite our Dean of Student Affairs, Professor Kundu, to speak a few words.
Good afternoon, our director, Professor Subhashi Chaudhary, Amita ma'am, Professor Sudarshan, and everybody else who are present over here. Amita ma'am, actually, I had a long association with Amita ma'am because when I was in the student arena working as a chairman cultural, from that point of time, I interacted Amita ma'am. And Amita ma'am is having a long association with IIT Bombay. As you can see that 2 former Dean of Students Affairs are present over here to share their thoughts. So I remember that during the Prakash Gopalan's time, we discussed quite a bit about the students and other things. That time she was sitting in the Dean SA office and handling the total problem about the students' mental health single-handedly. She was the only person present at that point of time. The thing is that after working for about 2.5 years as Dean SA, what I understood is that the number of students has gone up and the problems are manifold. It is not only academic, not only the personal, it has gone manifold. Each and every day we are actually learning from the students that what are the problems that exist over here. And each and every time we have to develop, we have to modify ourselves. Although Amita ma'am superannuated, But we did not ask her to take rest. We have appointed her, and continuously we are taking the advice from her, because right now, since the number of students had gone up, we had to actually structure this SWC much more. So we are actually going for an expansion and other things, and continuously we are taking the help of Amita ma'am. As far as the book is concerned, one time after her retirement, she discussed with me and asked her that why not, I'm thinking of writing a book. I think that's a great idea. The reason is that the kind of experience she has working in IIT Bombay should be written down somewhere else as a document. And this document is actually a case study, as Professor Chaudhary mentioned. It will be a handbook for all the Students' Wellness Center. And that's the most important thing. We learn from the cases, and that's why we try to apply in future. So I think that this is a great idea, that she has already penned down everything. And also, if any expansion of that one, that will also be helpful. But only one thing that I understood is that this particular book should not only be confined to IIT Bombay, because it is written more in a general form and addressing a part of it to the parents. Parents should know exactly the problems of the students, and parents' interaction right now is more important. Most of the time what we have found out at the parents after sending their kids to IIT Bombay, now it is IIT Bombay is a surrogate father and mother, and they should take care of this. Even writing the parents that please come over here, help us to help your kids. Even then, when it comes to their responsibility, they just raise their hands. That should not be that one. It is not only. It is not a mental health hospital. IIT is not a mental health hospital, as I said. It is only a supporting system. We can support, but without the support of the parents, we cannot do it. So this message never gone to outside. The reason for the confidentiality and also for the privacy issues, but as a general form, the way she has written, that can be published and that can go to the outside the IIT Bombay, and probably it will help in many folds in some other institution also. So I thank you for finally coming to this point and opening this one. I congratulate you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite our former Dean of Student Affairs, Professor Soumya Mukherjee, to address us.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatia. Good afternoon, Professor Chaudhary, Professor Kundu, Professor Yajnik, all the deans, associate deans, all the counselors who are present here. I wish the process of counseling had a mathematical formula. Now, then you put 1 + 2x, whatever, come out with an answer, give it to the student, done. Unfortunately, it is not. It does not have a formula. The formula has to be worked out case-by-case basis, on a 24/7 basis, with continuous involvement. And Mrs. Tagare has been the epitome of that. Mrs. Tagare has been the epitome of that. Counseling is also an extremely tightrope walking. On one side there is fire, the other side there are sharp blades. You have to walk on the wall and make sure that the student stays on the wall. And the wall is not straight. The wall is terra mera. So it is indeed an extremely difficult job. And clinical psychology has a whole bunch of books. All of you have read it. You have gone through courses, MSc, whatever, PhDs. But none of the books actually, they give you sort of guidelines, max, in a very general sense. But the students in IIT is another breed altogether. It is not covered in any of these clinical psychology books. One of the biggest problems I see that you cannot be very deeply involved, so you need to dissociate yourself. But you cannot dissociate yourself completely because then you will be a robotic counselor. So you have to have empathy. If you have empathy, then you are associated. Now, how do you walk this tightrope between dissociation in order to give good advice and empathy in order to give good advice? And I think someone who has done it for 30 years knows that very well. So, I mean, I really look forward to this book getting fatter because the case studies are there, but a student's case study, retaining all anonymity is not a page, or 2 pages. There has been hours and hours of discussion, not only with the student, but with the other stakeholders in the process, the faculty, the dean, the parents. Each action has a pro and a con. So one can really learn from the pros and the cons. And that is not there in this book. So Mrs. Tagare, you cannot go away. So, I mean, because you have not written those things down. So,
I was not allowed.
So, I mean, although she has superannuated, she is on officer something special duty. I don't know, but I mean, I look forward to her association with the Student Wellness Center in some advisory role or something like that, at least, because she's the person who can actually. I mean, our suddenly the average age in the counseling center has dropped. Okay, sorry. So the oldest one there is Hima, and who has not a single gray hair. So I think the person with all the gray hair has to actually advise the person with the younger people as to how to do it, because and it is not that it is static. The composition, the psyche of the students are keeping on changing, and so you have to slowly change with them. What was 20 years back is not there now. But if you do not know that progress, suddenly thrown into this hot water of, go handle those students, you don't know a little bit of the background of how the psyche came to be, then it's a problem. So, advisory role at least. Fatter book, madam, please. With that, again, I thank Mrs. Tagare actually for taking the time out to write this out, and I'm looking forward to her taking more time out to make this even more elaborate book. And with that, again, thank you, and best wishes to all the counselors. If she's not there, you are in trouble. So, thank you.
Now it is time for the formal book launch by our Honorable Director. So can you please do the honors? Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite the author of the book, Ms. Amita Tagare, to read out an excerpt from this book that we are eagerly awaiting. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, our director, Professor Kundu, Professor Soumya Mukherjee, for the kind words. I mean, I'm a little overwhelmed by hearing all of this. I thank the entire team of the Student Wellness Center, particularly Hima for the publication of this book, Anjali Bhatia for helping me with the thoughts into words, the staff, Chandrakant, Pinky, Anisha, for all the work that they have done behind the scenes. So many thanks to everybody. I'll take a pause while you look at the book, maybe. Okay. So IIT Bombay has been one of the very early institutes, one of the early prestigious institutes to acknowledge mental health, the emotional well-being of the students, and I think they acknowledged this way back in 1987, when probably mental health was a hush-hush topic. It was not even spoken about. I feel very proud to be a part of an institute who acknowledges emotional well-being at such an early stage. And it is there that my journey began. I joined here in 1987. I came armed with a lot of knowledge of, theoretical knowledge of psychology. My degree was with me. I had learned a couple of therapies, and I thought I knew it all. As I joined over here and I saw the working culture, the academic culture, the hostel culture, and I thought I know nothing. And it just started unlearning what I had learned, and I had to start relearning. What helped me to relearn? Students started trickling into the office one by one. One went to 2, 2 went to 5, 5 went to 10. It multiplied very, very gradually. Students came with their concerns. They came with trust. They came with faith. They came with an expectation that they will get solace and they'll get a direction to whatever they are confused about. If at all anything motivated me to learn and relearn and unlearn, it is the students. The faith they kept in me, the faith with which they thought that they would be helped, was the only motivating factor that helped me develop whatever probably I could develop over these past few years. So as we record this, I wish this reaches to all the students who have been my teachers and who have helped me learn all of this. As the journey started growing further and further, I gradually realized that counseling and a counselor cannot be a one-stop station where, all issues get resolved. That's when I started knocking doors. I went from door to door. I met the guide. I met the faculty advisor. I met the warden. I met the mentors, and tried to build up some kind of a support structure, some kind of a holistic approach for the student. And new therapies came into my mind, new outlooks came into my mind. Some of the things were told to the student, some I own up now, I did it behind their back. But I did it in their interest. I did a lot of things behind their back, but the goal was to get them out of their concerns. So this is something like a give back to the institute, which gave me a lot to learn. And thank you once again, everybody. So I'll just be here. So I'll just say what this handbook is all about. This handbook is intended not only to provide a glimpse of the way counseling is carried on by the core counseling team of the Student Wellness Center, but also to serve as a guide and manual for counselors and other stakeholders for dealing with complex cases. There are complex cases which are mentioned over here, and I'm sure all of you can relate to those cases. But in my concluding part, I say, the cases covered here show that often students need to go beyond the help of the counselor. Knowing when and from whom to take this help is important. It illustrates how every stakeholder's contribution is important for the student's well-being. It is requested to everybody who is holding this handbook to go through it, as you may be occupying a responsible position in the institute amongst those mentioned in this handbook. We request strong support from you in the overall well-being of the students and reassure you of our support if you identify any student in need. And thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for this memorable moment, which we will all remember for a long time. And we hope that, as Professor Mukherjee suggested, that this book grows fatter and reaches out to a lot more people. It was indeed a pleasure having all of you gracing this occasion today. We at the Student Wellness Center would like to extend our thanks to our director and to all the functionaries who have made the effort to come and be a part of this enthusiastic audience. I would also like to thank the PRO office and the printing press of IIT Bombay for their support in printing the copies of the handbook. And thank you to the guest house manager and the staff for providing us the venue and other technical support. Last but not the least, a very big thank you. I know it is on behalf of the SWC, but still I would like to thank all of us, the entire team, including our support staff, who have done such a great job in organizing this event and in some way or the other being a part of this effort. Thank you all.